What's up?
What's up? What's up?
Welcome to the show, man. Excited to meet you and talk to you.
Thank you for
So
having me.
no problem. So busy day on Saturday. You had practice.
Well, not today. I didn't have practice, but I had a workout with the overseas team out here, named North Carolina Capitals. So I had a good workout with them.
Okay. So
Got a day off.
you're still in prep, and you're. So can you play with overseas teams?
I can't. I don't believe I can, but it was just a workout.
How'd that go?
Oh, it went pretty good. It was very competitive. We got to learn a lot of new people and some new things. So just a day of getting better.
Gotcha. So yeah, I'm you can call me the Godfrey. Matt's my name, so you're more comfortable. First time we're meeting each other. Gonna ask you a lot of stuff about basketball, of course. Obviously, that's why we're here, right? And talk to you about you. And I would love to know, being a high school basketball player. What year are you? I believe
Uh, I'm,
you're.
I'm class of 2024.
That's what I thought. Yeah, I was looking that up. I was crash course and 2024. So you got a couple years left. You got a busy schedule. I have relatives to play basketball too in high school, and if you're good, you have a busy schedule. You got practice, you got class. What's your uh what's your favorite part about prepping for the week and your least favorite part?
My favorite part about prepping for the week is really just go ahead and getting my mindset ready.
Mhm.
Because on top of schoolwork, late practices, and games, it could be a lot. And then my least favorite, I don't think I have a least favorite.
Nothing. There's nothing that you got to have the grind, but there's nothing in the grind that you're like, man, I just got to do this.
Nope, because I
Okay.
know the task at hand, so it's
Okay.
all enjoyable to me.
Gotcha. All right. Well, good thing is that I would tell you that that's a good attitude to have, right? For anything in life. So who's like a professional basketball player that you look to for inspiration? I know a lot of basketball players, high school, some college,
Well, a
and they
professional,
say and they say some say they don't watch a lot of basketball, some say they do. So
yeah, me personally, I don't I don't watch NBA. I really pay more attention to like a little bit of college basketball, or I'll study a lot of game film to see where I can tweak my game and help my team out and stuff like that. But I don't watch a lot of basketball outside of what I just said.
interesting because a lot of times I've heard that answer a lot. It doesn't make it not unique, but people looking from the outside in will probably think like, hey, this guy's playing basketball and he's at home watching every NBA game when he has a shot to do it, when he has the time. But it's not. That's not really how it works. You're putting in that extra work, extra
Exactly.
practice, extra reps. Because you're striving for that level eventually. I would assume that's your end goal to be in the NBA.
Well, my end goal is just to play anywhere that's going to get money in my pockets and help my family out. So NBA,
Overseas,
overseas, whatever it is.
so you got a love for the game, right? So now I got another question for you. Do you have a favorite basketball movie?
Favorite basketball movie? Either Love and Basketball or Like Mike.
Okay, okay, good answers, good answers. All right. So not a big watcher, but is there an NBA player's game who you admire when you watch film or things that he does where you're like, man, I really need to like kind of focus on that particular part of my game. Is there
Um, Definitely between Damian Lillard and CP3.
okay? I feel you on that. Those are good choices. Very good choices. So I was watching some of your film and I was noticing there was a game you had where I was pulling up some of your highlights. The most recent one that came up was it made five threes in a row. I don't know if you remember that game or not.
Was I want to say it was against Greenfield.
Yeah, I think it was December 22nd.
Yep, that was the Greenfield.
So is that do you like shooting the outside ball a lot? That is your shot your strength?
Um, it's one of my strengths. I definitely like the three ball, but a lot of my points come from the mid range area. So mid range is my favorite.
I think that's underrated these days. I like to hear that, because we talk, a lot of high school basketball I've watched. I've noticed in certain places, it's all three or nothing. No
Yeah,
mid range, no going to the hole sometimes, which is good to have the three, but I think the mid range jumper is underrated.
I agree.
It could be deadly. It could be deadly if you're hitting it all the time. People, I think on certain levels, people aren't used to guarding that part of the floor. So if you could do it, there's NBA players who made their name off that shot. That's pretty awesome. So is there a particular offense that you like to run when you're on the floor? A position you prefer to play? I know in high school you could be all over the place, based off need. You might, you could be a guard, but you might naturally want to be a point guard, vice versa. Is there a position that you prefer, an offense that you like to run?
The position I prefer to play shooting guard, basically the two, just so I can create more off the ball. But I don't have a problem running point guard. I ran point guard just about all my life, so running point helps me control the game. But a play or offense that I like to run the most would have to be pin down, a pin down offense or a horn set.
Okay. So yeah, because I noticed that, you do have a good jumper up. I was seeing in that film that you were hitting those threes over at will. So is there something you would change about the high school game? Because one thing I would change is I would love to see a shot clock in certain places. Certain places don't have it. Is there something
Agreed.
you would change about the high school game?
Yeah, I would definitely add a shot clock just so it can get us more prepared for the next level. Because when you're in high school and you play teams and they're just playing stall ball and you take it forever to run your offense and get into the plays, it's going to be completely different at the next level. So I
Uh,
definitely agree with you on that one.
man, it is brutal being in a high school basketball game stand, watching the game and watching the other team do that.
It's
When the team
terrible.
knows they don't have any shooters, they don't have any athletes, and they're outmatched. I mean, I've seen games where the first quarter was like 6-2, and you're like, "What is going on here?" And it's just like they're passing and passing. I'm like, "Shoot the ball," and
Exactly.
it's ridiculous because I think it does get the kids prepared for the next level. I mean, I'm not I state to state, I think it could differ, but pretty much nationwide, I think it's still no shot clock for
Yeah,
high school
for the
basketball,
most
right?
part.
Yeah. So to me, man, that would be the biggest thing too. I mean, it would make the game more interesting, I think, for spectators. People are going to be into it because their kids are into it, their relatives are into it, things like that. But I think it would make the athletes have to hustle more because you got to run up and down the floor. It's just I couldn't even imagine the NBA today, or the NCAA without a shot clock, or a 3-point line. Back in the day, there was no 3-point line in college. Is it?
Games would be completely different.
Completely different. So you said you watch college. Is there a college squad that you like to watch?
College squad I like to watch. Um, well, when I first really got into watching college basketball, Notre Dame was my team,
Okay.
but right now I don't have a favorite team to watch. I really just look how fast the game is, how each player has their own role and stuff like that.
So do you prefer to be more in a fast break offense where you run up and down the court, or where it's more controlled, you set up, you know?
Um, I prefer fast break because that I feel like a faster offense it gets the crowd more into it. It brings energy for your bench and on the floor. But I agree that every team needs to be able to run a half court offense. So
Gotcha. 100%. So I was noticing that game we were talking about on December 22nd, where you dropped the 5 threes. The crowd was pretty into it. Do you feel that energy? As a high school player, do you feel that? I didn't even check if that was a home game. I got to be honest. Was that a home or away game?
it was a away game.
But you're still getting popped from the audience. I heard it.
Yeah. It
You
was
had
it, that's a rival game in Wilson, Greenfield versus Wilson Prep. It's
okay.
always game of the year.
I wanted to ask you that too. Like, what's your rival school? And it sounds like you're telling me right there. Like, do you get up for those games more? Like, is that something where that just it matters just a little bit more to you?
Definitely, because in the Wilson area, it's a lot of talk. So we going out there, it's not just playing for ourselves, it's playing for the team, putting on for the crowd, bringing the hoop dream back to everybody in the area. So it's definitely personal.
So on the court, right? Whether you're playing pickup ball, high school ball, professional ball, there's some trash talk. Do you run into some good trash talkers on the court out there at high school? Are you a good trash talker? Are you a Reggie? Are you a Reggie Miller type? Are you talking trash like Reggie? I'm pretty sure you heard about the legendary trash talking from some of the NBA players out there of the past and present.
I do talk a little bit of trash.
Oh yeah.
I don't say too much. It just depends how the game is going, but I talk some trash.
So when you talk trash, is it because a guy's getting under your skin and you're like, I'm gonna shut this guy down with my game, or is it because he's coming at you? Like, give me something you say to him. Like, give me something you say.
Well, usually I talk trash to get under a player's skin. So if
Okay.
they're guarding me, I'll go like walk. Say it's a free throw, we're walking side by side next to each other. I'll just tell them, whisper in their ear, it's gonna be a long night, stuff like that, and get on their skin, make them mad, get them in foul trouble, and then that
Okay.
helps me and my team out.
So do you focus on? So you say you focus on mid-range jumper a lot, right? Which is a strong part of your game. Do you focus on free throws a lot, dude? Because I could see guys sometimes be fantastic 3-point shooters, and they're average free throw shooters.
Yep. In practice, at the end of practice, we get up about 25 free throws at the end of every practice. So outside of practice, I work on my free throws a lot because those are easy points. They're called free throws for a reason.
Yeah,
So
free. You know,
literally.
yeah. And interesting. So, is there a dynamic you feel in high school, like you always hear in the NBA, that the home team gets more foul calls? Do you feel like that's the case in high school basketball?
Yes.
Do you?
All the
Okay.
time.
All right.
Whenever we go, any away game we go to, it's us against the team and the refs. So
All right. Well, listen, I'm glad to hear that. That's from all the way up. That's a home, that's college, pros, high school. All right, that's cool. So, um, yeah, because the reason I asked that is because that it's free throws, right? So basketball's kind of wild because you get awarded free points, right? You know what I mean? So when someone take advantage of that, back in the day, man, if you weren't like an 85% free throw shooter, they're like, yo, you're not even playing. That's changed because the game's changed a lot, so it's not a big deal. But um, it's funny how that could swing. So do you ever get heated with the ref? You try to keep it inside. You're like you want to say something to him, but you don't want to get teed up. So you look to your coach like, yeah, say something to this guy. Like, what's up, man? Like, you see this call?
yeah, I usually just keep it into myself, or if it's a bad call, I'm not gonna show out in front of the ref. I'll talk to the ref on the side, or ask like, "Well, what did I do, or what can I do to prevent that?" Like stuff like that. But I never showed too much emotion towards the ref because at the end of the day, they called it. There's nothing I can do about it. On to the next play.
Smart. You want to create an ally. It's like that in life in general. But yeah, it's you want to create an enemy that has the power to blow that whistle on you. You want to kind of you keep your friends close and your enemies closer, as they say, right?
Exactly.
So let's talk dunking. Who have you seen from past and present where you're like, wow, that guy could really dunk? Like it could be Michael Jordan, Vince Carter, someone from college. It doesn't matter.
Well, I'll go up from high school to the NBA. High school this year that we played a school called Farmville, and they had this guy named Josh Short. Bounce is just outrageous.
Wow.
Then college, let me think. College, I forgot what school the guy played for, but it was all over ESPN. I'm trying to think of the name of the school. I can't think of the name, but he had a dunk that went viral. It happened in practice. He had split the defense and it just came through the lane. And then NBA, of course, I'm gonna say LeBron just because he's my favorite.
Okay. So let me ask you a question because I'm older, you're younger. This is a debate that always goes on. So, do you think LeBron is the GOAT?
Yes, I do.
Okay. It would be a lengthy argument. I don't, but you can argue for it. I could see a case made for it. I think LeBron's tremendous. He's an all-time great. There's no doubt about that. For me, the GOAT's still MJ. It's close.
And see, when it comes to that, I wouldn't say LeBron's the GOAT. I say he's the king. MJ can have the GOAT title, but here's why: you really can't compare them due to two different type of players and styles of game and eras. So
That's true. The eras are different. Game, I do. That is a very good point you're making. Um, I think the defense was a little harder in Jordan's era. He had to go through a lot of legends. The game's faster these days. So a lot of the athletes are more athletic in basketball. But LeBron, he is pretty awesome. MJ is pretty awesome too. I admire MJ for he just had this tenacity for competition like you've never seen. I think it's been unmatched. I think the closest person as far as that's come to him has been Kobe, as far as his
agreed.
his tenacity for competition and one and desire to win. You know, so but LeBron's up there for sure. Um, that's interesting. Okay, okay. So have you ever seen the, the dunk contest, Dominique versus Michael Jordan? Have you ever seen that film?
I don't think I have.
I'm giving you a homework assignment. You need to watch that. Watch that dunk contest, and you're like, wow. You're like, wow. See, because what people don't realize about the NBA and basketball, NBA was in a tough spot in the 70s, right?
Mm,
Coming into the 80s. Michael Jordan came along. You had Larry Bird, you had Evan Johnson, all that was coming along, and it bloomed. So, the dunk contest from today to the ones back then is all the stars were in the dunk contest back then. Now it's like, yeah, maybe. You know what I mean? They want the
yeah.
time off. But back then it was everybody. It was ridiculous. So, um, it's interesting, man. So, is there a is there a type of defense that you hate playing? Like you're like, man, I hate this type of defense. Like it just gets on your nerves. Like you hate when
Um,
you're pressed. You hate man to man.
I don't. I don't have a problem with people pressing me, but sometimes I just wish it would go away and they could just stay in a half court man or a half court zone something. But when they press the full game, it slows the game down. You gotta make smart plays, ball fakes, all that.
So
So
when you're working on your game, what's the thing that you want to work on the most? Like what because everybody has. I don't care what player you are, even the best. There's some kind of weakness to their game, right?
mm,
What's the one that you're like, man, you find yourself constantly working on because that the best that become good, they're the most critical of themselves. Every artist, every athlete are their most vocal critic, and they're always trying to work on that one thing that is a challenge to
mm.
them.
Well, I would definitely say I when I work out, I definitely just try to work on getting the most reps in, game like reps. So if like in a game, I'll have a lot of driving lanes and then I'll get bumped and it throw me off from getting my layup or whatever. So when I work out, I work on being strong, attacking the basket, stuff like that. And then when it works with my mid-range game, just getting a lot of reps up, seeing the ball go in, finding my touch with every spot. And that's really it.
Gotcha. Do you have a preferred? I always love asking this question. A preferred sneaker you like to wear when you play?
Preferred sneaker. Yes. Kobe's.
So Kobe's, that's your thing. It's like what I play in is Kobe. So you seek them out. When one Kobe's gone, you're getting another pair of Kobe's in.
Yes.
All right,
And the crazy thing is, I hoop in almost a different pair of shoes every game.
a different pair of shoes,
Yes.
like brand new.
Well, I wouldn't say brand new, but it's a different pair.
But you should. All right. So you're telling me. So how many games on average? I mean, you probably play. I'm gonna guess you play year round, right? You play.
Yes,
You
sir.
play travel ball. You play the academy. You're playing year round, right? So How many pairs of you must have? I'm gonna guess at least 50 pairs of shoes to ball in.
I wouldn't say 50, but we're getting there.
You getting there? All right. So you like a fresh pair. It's good to rotate them anyway. They last longer, but so you got a fresh pair every game. All right. So is there ever a time when you're wearing a pair of shoes, you're like, man, these things just don't feel right, and you feel uncomfortable in the game?
Yes, it literally happened yesterday.
Tell me about that. Like, what were you just like? You just did
So
it make you feel off on your shot? Your footing, your dribble.
I was playing in a pair of Yeezy 500s,
Okay.
and they just felt a little too heavy for the game, and I felt like it was slowing me down. So I told my coach, I said, Coach, I gotta take these off. It's messing me up. So he shoved me out. I ran to the locker room, changed my shoes, and I put on some PG5s, and
Okay.
it definitely was a difference.
So the game went up from there.
Yes, sir.
Awesome. So what do you think has been your best game so far in your young career? Like what game do you look back and you say, man, that was my best game, and you strive to maybe repeat that game again or have similar games like that?
My best game. That's a good question. Um, well, there was a game this year we played in Durham for this Christmas tournament, and we played this team named Bartow. They're a 6A school from Florida, and that game, defensively, controlling the pace of the game, assist, scoring, everything was just perfect.
It's an all around game. Yeah, I feel like in high school players have to show they have an all around game because of how slow the game can be sometimes with no shot clock. It doesn't allow some people with really good potential sometimes to show what they can do.
Mm,
Right. I don't know if you would agree with that, but that's what I see as an observer. I just feel like, someone, there might be they might have all the tools, but they don't get to show them all because of how the game's played, especially in high school where like you might be a taller kid and you get stuck playing center, but you're really not a center. You're just the tallest kid on the team.
exactly.
So that happens to my nephew all the time. I see that all the time. And there's nobody over 6'1" on his team. Ends up being the center because that someone has to play, right? So
Yeah.
we're gonna wrap up soon, but I wanted to ask you, like, what if someone's seeing this video and they're trying to get to know Brandon Anderson, like, what would you tell them that your goal is, what you want to do, and what you strive for in your young basketball career? Like, what would you tell them?
Well, my overall goal, like I said, was just to be able to play at each level, college basketball and the pros. That's my overall level or goal. And basically for myself, it's just the basketball. It's like a job now. I don't just want to play it to play it, but I feel like basketball also has bettered me as a person. So throughout life of playing it, I think it'll make me an even better person than what I am right now. So,
If there was a college let's say you could pick any college, it's at your disposal. Which one would you want to pick? Is there like a top three you would have?
well, my top one right now is LSU.
LSU. Okay. Okay.
And then, honestly, any school that's offering me a scholarship, the most money, and I can go out there and do my thing, I'll take it.
We need to get Shaq on the line and get him out there. Former LSU Tiger. Shaq, you hear this man? He wants to come to the Tigers. So, listen, it was wonderful talking to you. Great to meet you. We'll keep in touch. I'll be watching
Definitely.
how you're doing. I've been getting into high school basketball more lately because I have a nephew that's about, he just turned 17. He's a junior in high school playing, and been watching it a lot more, enjoying the game, enjoying seeing the young kids play with their heart. So, love talking to you. We wish you the best of luck, and we'll
Thank you.
probably
Thank
see
you.
you here on Sports Empire Network. And if you want to tell anybody to follow you on Twitter, shoot your handle out. Tell them where they can find Brandon
Well,
Anderson.
on Instagram, you can find me at Brandon.A3. On Twitter, you can find me at B Anderson with three N. Well, B Anderson 3, and Anderson has 3 N's.
All right, that's awesome. That's awesome, man. So we'll follow you. Good to meet you, and we'll be talking again. Thanks for
All right.
listening to everybody. Thanks for coming on, Brandon. This is the Godfrey, and we're signing out from Sports Empire Network.